Welcome back to the Console League, where we've had some exciting matches today, but if you all want to have a little bit of excitement at home, you certainly can. The Spooky Squad chest is out there for you, and you're coming up on the last chance to grab it, so you do not want to miss out. Cupid and Kumbhakarna are in there, and their names kind of start a little bit similar, so I messed that up, but ignore that part, and instead go home and enjoy this chest. I'm going to bring up an even bigger mess up onto the desk with me here, though. That's Ryan Agro-Bailey.
Holy cow.
That was good, right?
What? Just because you get to say Cupid and Kumbhakarna doesn't mean you get to call me a failure. What?
Well, I didn't say all that. You read that part of it into it. So.
Well, I mean, you were only one off. I mean,
yeah, it was pretty close.
You were pretty close.
There's still some success left in the definition I gave you, so enjoy that. Yeah, enjoy the.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Real nice of you, Finch.
Anyway, Xbox.
You just cast it with Hindu Man, and it clearly just, I mean, the savageness rolled off on you.
Yeah, if you're gonna cast with Hindu Man, you have to take all the weights off your legs.
Yes.
Yeah, and be ready to go with Hindu Man fully, entirely. So anyway, on to Xbox NA we go. Take a look at the standings here. On the screen, Hype Unit up at the top. That's to surprise exactly 0 people. Hype Unit are the best team on console. They have been, as long as these guys have been playing together. Blanche Fan Club, though, have been pretty darn close. That's what makes this match so big.
Absolutely. I mean, if Blanche Fan Club win this game, then they are tied in the standings with Hype Unit with the head-to-head at least split down the middle.
Right.
Don't remember if they're the one who gave Hype Unit their loss earlier on in this phase or not, but
I imagine, yeah.
Either way, this is a big game for Blanche Fan Club for sure. I mean, this is a team that needs to bounce back after losing their best player, Crimson, to Hype Unit. That's always a good feeling, absolutely. But now you can get a little bit of revenge and show them that maybe he should have stuck around.
Good luck is what I would say to that. I mean, listen, I don't mean that there's no chance for them. I just mean if you're going to try and take out Crimson, that's very difficult to do. The guy's very good here at this game. But I do think Blanche Fan Club actually line up pretty well here up against Hype and have a pretty good chance to try and take this match out. It is going to start in these picks and ban phases, though, not letting over there in the solo lane, letting Wolves get exactly what he wants in that matchup. And you proposed to me that maybe Layers are the one they should really be worrying about, right? And trying to limit him on the side of Hype Unit.
Yeah, I think Layers is just the best player on console right now. I mean, Wolves has had that title for a long time, and to get it potentially usurped, I'm not even saying, definitively, but
sure.
I think from just what we've seen from this team and all these players individually as of late, the big thing for me was Layers' performance at the Midseason Invitational and Wolves' performance at the Midseason Invitational. Layers clearly was the leader of this team.
It felt that way, yeah.
Looked the best against the highest end of competition, so that's why I'm just giving him the nod right now.
And again, that it's even come to that just goes to show how much progress really Layers has made just in general, or chaotic purpose, or whatever. We're calling him here at this point as Olorun, first pick for Blanche. They banned away the Odin, AMC, Zhongqi. That all makes sense. Gab said Isis. All of those fairly standard up to this point.
Erlang Shen left open, and this is probably for Layers, but also can certainly go over to Inbowned. He loves his aggressive supports in King Arthur. Alongside that is perfect because this backline dive now, whether this Erlang is in jungle or in support, is going to be very difficult to stop.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal, especially for someone like an Olorun. It's basically sanctified field or bust, it feels like, for getting away from the two of these. Add the Osiris into the equation, though, and Blanche does add a good deal now of boxing potential. And the Ganesha can slow that dive a bit with the Dharmic Pillars.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what both Erlang Shen and King Arthur want to do is channeling. I mean, you have to channel 72 transformations, you channel the spins for King Arthur. This makes a lot of sense to me. Merlin also can have trouble against that Ganesha silence. I like this pickup for BFC, but it is a little bit risky because if Ganesha and your team falls behind, it's one of those Guardians that can tend to feel a little bit unimpactful at times.
A little bit of an eye from Blanche towards Inbound, who you were just mentioning. They've banned away the Kumbhakarna away from him. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's the Ho Yi and the Sun Wukong that Hype Unit have taken out of the equation. So one last ban. We'll see if BFC elect to take that one towards Inbound again. And it looks like no, maybe a bit of an eye towards Oboronic with this hell ban.
I cannot believe that it's a meta where Thoth is valued highly, and one team has Oboronic and Crimson, and it doesn't get banned or picked. Like, what is going on? Thoth's so good right now, I think, especially if you are Oboronic or Crimson, or either or both of you. I mean, Chernobog, Merlin are two pretty good picks. Give me Thoth. I think it's way more impactful for sure.
Yeah, there was a run in Season 4 there where I thought that was about as good as it gets, right? Was seeing Crimson on that Thoth there for a while, so I'm right there with you in terms of what its value is as Medusa and Unbots come through to round out the draft for BFC. Meanwhile, Hype Unit considering the Sylvanus.
Could be, and so will be Erlang Shen in the jungle. Sylvanus still fits that aggressive early game playstyle that Inbound likes to go to, but transitions into the late game a little bit better. I like what Hype Unit has, plenty of CC, really good overall AoE damage between the Merlin and the Sylvanus and the Chernobog as well. Blanche Fan Club is a good draft as well. I just don't like it as much as Hype Units.
Hype Unit might have the slight draft advantage. Let's see who has the battlefield advantage as we move into Game 1.
BFC versus HU, or HU, if I was Hindu man. Tom Manager on the mic one more time. Anatoly Alexei not going to be joining me for the ride. How you doing, Toli?
Pretty good. You know, Hype Unit is always hyped to watch, especially once we're going to see Wolves in an aggressive matchup against Delnyy, the King Arthur, versus the Osiris matchup. I'm expecting Osiris to be a little bit favored in terms of the poke potential before Glads comes online.
I'm always a big fan of watching Hype Unit, and the action that Blanche Fan Club can bring is certainly nothing to sleep on either. The action, by the way, brought to you by Mr. Doug, one of the best observers in the business, always bringing us the best of the game. And so Delnyy over here on the right side will be going up against Wolves on the King Arthur. This matchup should be pretty tough, but I think Delnyy has what it takes to really hang. As far as the other selections are concerned, I'm just going to bring up oBoronic here on the Hunter. I have no doubt that oBoronic can kind of play whatever you give him. I am still questioning whether or not you need to play Hunters in the mid lane. I think you can still get away with playing your mages here. And in that world, I would love to see oBoronic continue to play the mages. That said, if you're winning, it ain't no thing.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's a saying for a reason. I think oBoronic is very comfortable on no matter what you give him. So probably more comfortable on the mages, I would expect, but you want to be able to mix it up between the basic attack damage and the ability-based damage. Chernobog, one of the best at that game, having such a high attack speed steroid.
It's interesting, though. Largely ability-based, but also basic attack-based. I mean, where do you think he falls when we say, like, you know, Uller is all ability, and
yeah,
Rom's all basic attack?
So I would say Chernobog is easily like 85% basic attacker.
Really?
Yeah, 85.
And it's all because of that steroid.
It's all because of the steroid. Sure, you can find a nice little route as well with your detonate abilities, but at the end of the day, when you got an attack speed steroid, like, sure, Rom does a lot of damage with her Astral Barrage, but it's still going to be a basic attack.
Right. Makes sense. Wolves and Delnyy going head-to-head here, and Wolves getting the better of Delnyy for now. And honestly, we'll probably continue to get the better of Delnyy once that Glad Shield comes online. Osiris, one of the few characters that can really hang with King Arthur. Keegan trying to hang on for dear life here. Big damage out of Crimson, but not enough to confirm the kill.
Just not enough, but it's going to cripple Crimson to even come out of his tower line, knowing that potentially there's going to be more people waiting for him.
I don't think...
After the red buff invade, they got it. Hype Unit secures it. With that advantage they got in the duel lane, you got to be able to stretch it somewhere, whether it's the purple or the red buff. They got one of the two. They could easily still go for the second one.
I was going to make a bad joke about Merlin not crippling people. Erlang no longer roots and
Oh, sure, sure. It's like, huh?
Toli is already over my nonsense.
It's late.
We are 3:20 into this game. Wolves will be denied a blue buff, and that actually will be a big impact here. The rest of Hype Unit comes through to try and fight it. Delnyy ults, and everybody walks away. Nobody really wants a piece of that pie. 3 players strong for Blanche. And they find themselves almost 1,000 gold up off of a couple of invades here. So some nice early game looks for BFC. But where do they go from here? That's really the answer. 700, nothing to hold my hat on. 1,000, once you hit 1,500, now we're starting to talk. So Blanche Fan Club with this little bit of lead, I would like to see them continue. You brought up the pressure, kind of crippled in that left lane. They were able to transition that into a red buff. More stuff like that, but on Blanche's side is kind of the goal here, I think.
With the blue buff invade, that's the way they can stretch it. If you're going to lose something on the left, get something on the opposite side. It's a push and a pull kind of pendulum in the SMITE competitive side where you're not always going to be able to defend your own buffs, and it's not always the proper thing to do. Because of how many bodies were on the left side, it leaves your right side exposed, as we're seeing a little bit of a freezing action here out of Crimson, knowing that Keegan doesn't have beads for another 40 seconds.
Layers creeping over here. Keegan hasn't caught him yet. Layers gonna walk past, and Keegan still hasn't caught him. Looking for the 1v1. No fight there, and Crimson will walk into the jungle. Red buff spawning one more time, and Hype Unit interested, but Blanche Fan Club show up early and in numbers. And that sends Hype Unit back to their side of the map, no problem. And with a subsequent red buff defend, all of a sudden, there's that 1,000 gold lead I was talking about. Blanche Fan Club looking to continue in this direction. Again, I want to see that blue buff invade a second time.
And Blanche Fan Club have a team fighting composition dedicated towards jungle fights. Medusa, Batz, level 5 on those two gods. Only level 4 was layers, so you didn't have access to the 9 turns blessing for the taunt or the heal. Smart disengage from Hype Unit, even though they got the red buff first time. That doesn't mean you can always continuously invade.
Fear no Evil in the mid lane, gonna put Inbowned in some trouble. Half HP, but the ultimate is gonna knock players up and down. Oboronic is here, and Inbound will go all the way down. First blood for Blanche Fan Club, but Oboronic bites back. And it's 1-1.
Good beats to be able to avoid the small miniature root out of Fatal Ghost Medusa's Lacerate. Able to confirm that 1-for-1 despite Blanche Fan Club getting the first blood. Losing your jungler's life there is going to allow Layers to play catch up. He was struggling a little bit in the experience per minute category at the very bottom end of that 300 category.
I love Boronic's assistance there. He uses the ultimate, goes up and down, and gets all the benefits from that ultimate. But more importantly, Toli, his positioning never really put him in danger. He knew exactly what tools the opponent had, and although it looked like he was in the middle of a team fight, because he really was in the middle of 3 different players, there was never a threat to his life. Oboronic really understands where he can position himself, when he can position himself. Mage or Hunter.
Ooh, Delnyy no ultimate. He uses it, but the passive is giving him 16% physical mitigation. Jangaru a little bit too low to fully assist in the matters.
Delnyy still here, jumps into tower range, pulled back, and put down. Layers gets kill number 3. And the solo laner gets kill number 2. Wolves and Layers, right side of the map. Right side of the situation.
You know, sometimes Inbound does more on the highlight reels besides just being the victim of the highlight reels. He makes the pulls just like that and the baits from time to time. I'm surprised that Delnyy was actually basic attacking when he knew he had to run away, because that's the only way you lose the Osiris passive is if you confirm those basic attacks. And that 16% physical mitigation was going to heavily outweigh any sort of DPS he was about to re-deliver.
Well, after all that, Hype Unit have cut the 1,000 gold lead down to just about 600. Nothing too wild. And that's the idea. Blanche Fan Club. I was kind of leading the witness there when I was saying, you know, Blanche Fan Club, they got like 600, maybe they can get another one. They got 1,000. I started talking about leads like 1,500, because that's what happens if it all spirals out of control. And BFC are able to continue getting these invades left side, right side, and looking for things like that. But the solo lane shutdown there was very important for Hype Unit to cull the aggression from Blanche Fan Club. And now, because of those kills on the other side, not that it drastically changes how Blanche Fan Club can fight, but I think it'll change how they will fight, knowing that Hype Unit has that response ready to go.
Blanche Fan Club are just trying to control the left side of the map with all the vision, whereas you're looking at Hype Unit being very diversified in both sides of the map, even having a ward right above the speed buff to know where Jangaru is going after confirming that buff every 2 minutes. As he is going to rotate on the left side, exposing the right side a little bit. Blue buff not due to respawn anytime soon.
Mid lane, the focus for Inbound could come around the back side, but the call was no thanks. No gank in the mid lane. So Inbound will walk away, no problem. Let's check in with the itemization. Or pause that. What's up, Tully?
Wolves just used the Excalibur's Raft a little bit off the mark there.
A rare misstep.
Trying to go for more poke while Delnyy didn't have his passive fully built up. I like the idea, but just a shy couple of meters too short.
So far, both of our solo laners have the Glad Shield. That's standard and to be expected. In fact, all of our builds are relatively standard and to be expected. The Pythags piece is a little bit curious for the Merlin, perhaps, but we've seen mages, no matter what, prioritize the side of man for the boots, mainly because of the health, to be honest with you. It's a competitive amount of power, not necessarily the top power or something that you would go all the time, but that 200 HP that it provides also gives you just a little bit of survivability that you need in that carry role.
And it's a very selfless build. It's not just all the things that it does for yourself. The aura, providing physical, magical lifesteal for all your teammates. It's going to favor out also these mid-hunters in the late game because you're not always building lifesteal from that mid position. So even the Pythax aura is going to help you tank objectives.
Right side, here comes Layers, ult for ult, the monkey answers back. All of a sudden, oBoronic comes from the mid lane, puts down Jangaru just like that. The tower dive is on. There's a pull from Bobby into the knockup. Layers is here as well. Hype unit surround, and they find Delnyy. oBoronic on the good side of two of them, baby. Big boy ultimate brings him all the way to the right side, and he does the right thing. 3-0-1 for the young gun in the middle lane.
I love the play there from Bobby, having confidence to make that play. I thought he was going to go deep in the heart of the tower to guarantee the Wrath of Terror, but he knew he had an angle, he lined it up, timed it very well, and then his teammates were just in position to follow up.
That whole sequence, I feel like, is Hype Units, that was cute, is Hype Units' identity as a whole. They're getting attacked, they respond with more people than you thought were coming, and then an all-out confidence play from Inbowned just to set up the rest of the squad. They collapse like a moth to a flame. Ooh, chef's kiss. That was a beautiful sequence.
And even having a shell to prevent Hamster's counter rotation with the Dharmic Pillars, that almost got the trade-off, but honestly, the dirty work was already done as Bobby cleaned up, or helped clean up Delnyy. Looking for a Pyromancer now as Hype Unit over the Gold Fury.
A very slight lead here, just about 1,000, even less, to be honest with you. The Pyromancer would secure that 4-digit lead.
They should be able to secure it. Good zoning coming through from Inbound. Jangaru looking for a play.
Has the ultimate available, pops it from over the wall.
I think he just wanted to get the reset.
Yeah, I don't hate that. That play looks really bad because we can see the health bar.
Yes.
Jangaru going for the play, not knowing the exact HP on that on the objective, might even get a steal if he's 0.5 seconds earlier. I don't hate that play.
Yeah,
I really don't.
There was no vision on that right
all.
side of the map. It was a good Delnyy coming through, but now there could be a little bit of pressure in the mid lane.
Fatal Ghost with a great Medusa ultimate, but it do not matter. Inbound gets the last hit. Damage from everybody else. oBoronic and Layers combining to provide some of the DPS that takes down the middle lane Medusa. As I said, Anatoly, that fight again begins with a fantastic Medusa ult. Hamster drops a fantastic ultimate of his own, and Hype Unit just shrug it off.
Could have been a what-if situation if Jangaru had the Fear No Evil, if he had not used that at the Pyromancer, but that's why Hype Unit was aggressive, the fact that they realized there is that window of aggressive opportunity, taking advantage to its fullest. Without a Hunbat's ultimate, Hype Unit, free to do what they please, honestly.
Gold Fury on the clock for you?
Not really. Still want to get some more stacks for Inbound's Gauntlet of Thebes. You really want those protections there. You want to even get that aura. Also, he's almost level 12. That second relic is going to be huge. Hamster's still sitting at level 10. He's still not going to have his second relic. That's going to be a nice little power play for a Hype Unit.
Yeah, I like to see this. We've got 3 players without second relics that could totally grab them pretty soon. I'd like to see that back, and that I kind of want to see everybody back and then go for the Gold Fury, because a lot of this gold, this 2,500 gold lead, is still in the pocket. All right, can we see gold in hand real quick? And there it is. You can see 3 of these players with 1,600. That's 2/3 of an item most of the time, if not for the support, a full item. So buy that and then hit the Gold Fury. I think is the right call. oBoronic and Inbound here a little bit early. Hamster dashes away.
Nice little attempt there, but Hamster taking a decent amount of damage already, 25% health. That could be the one little thing that Hype Unit could lean on. Not to commit on this Gold Fury, but just to pull it to see exactly how BFC will react if they can catch Hamster for a second time. I don't think he's dashing away for his life.
Well, players are going to focus on the right, on the mid lane real quick. And that's enough to get Hype Unit to bring the Gold Fury down to 25%. Pulls off the mark, and now everybody looking at Inbound. Here comes the Olorun ultimate from the other side, and Keegan puts him down early. Dots take down the jungler, and a huge deal that is. Keegan on the run, Oboronic on the chase. Layers here, beads will negate the stun. And Hamster Man on the dash. Wolves able to catch up, knock him up, put him down, just like that.
Still going for a little bit more. He's not getting any healing, though, because he got hit by the Lord of the Afterlife. Delnyy making a rotation, helping the kill.
Wonderful play there from Delnyy. The micro is on point, and that's what you got to expect. Delnyy has been playing in the solo lane so well, and these are the plays that he makes. He makes these real aggressive plays. Now, Delnyy will do the job and be the selfless solo laner that goes out, zones, and dies for you while you take the Fire Giant. But really, what Delnyy, I think, has kind of made a name for himself on is that, like, Omega Maniac style play. Just, I'm here, I'm going to jump on your carry, I'm going to make sure he can't do what he wants to do. Kill or be damned, you can't do what the game plan was. Wolves gets shut down because of a, honestly, very difficult to hit Lord of the Afterlife in traffic.
Really is. There's just a lot going on. The animations of King Arthur in general, he's always dashing across with 4 different abilities. So good accuracy demonstrated by Delnyy, but with the death of Inbound hitting level 12, he picks up the Frenzy Relic, so I think this means the Hype Unit's going to go for round 2.
Certainly looking for it. Hype Unit have a lead. They're looking to push it.
It's like 4 or 5 seconds.
Not even. Yeah, that's a fast car.
That was with Relic Dagger as well, so that Frenzy's going to come back very soon. Could go for the Pyromancer once it respawns.
That's certainly a choice. Pyromancer will be up relatively soon. Hamster going to place some of the vision. Good stuff there. So after the Gold Fury and some other objectives, Hype Unit find themselves up almost 3,000 here. 2,600 to be a little bit more precise. And this is where Hype Unit look to continue to go. Return to this fountain over and over again. Keegan was a bright spot for the Blanche fan club in that last engagement, but he was by himself, much like Layers here.
Wow, trying to go for the 1v1, but it is never a 1v1 when you got a Chernobog making the rotation.
Oh! Threads the needle, finds the shot in between the 2 goalposts. They were a little closer than some football goalposts. That was hard to find. And Oboronic, with eyes of the tiger, able to make it happen. Delnyy grabbed by Wolves. Will be let go. Tier 2 tower, more of a since we're here, we'll take it type deal.
Yeah, with a wave, 17.5 minutes in. Thank you very much, says Hype Unit. Blanche fan club still can only be spectators to all the objectives. Hype Unit are just tallying across the board.
So many teams have to hit a Pyromancer, like a mental tick. I love to see the attention to the Fire Giant directly. 15% left. Olorun ultimate and the frenzy is popped. It's a 1-for-1 trade out as Hamster go down, but there's 2 for Keegan.
They're not done yet, though. Oboronic could be in a little bit of trouble. He's very low. Keegan's going to get himself a triple kill. Delnyy not going to let Inbound go anytime soon, but the zoning is just formality because the Pyromancer is on the better end of it. Fatal Ghost before falling gets off a beautiful double stun, and the team fighting ultimates from Blanche fan club showing off why it's so strong.
I liked the call for Fire Giant. I said it before and I'll stick to it. I honestly do. But you've got to be aware of Keegan's ultimate out here. Olorun ultimate, specifically on the Fire Giant, is going to destroy the opponent.
Like, they had so much vision, too, as Hype Unit around this right side of the map.
Yeah.
They pulled, I believe it was, what, Hamster into the Fire Giant pit. Great pull, by the way, by Inbound. That's been on the money so far this game. But with the Frenzy popped, they basically wasted his value by not securing and continuing the DPS on Fire Giant. So many times teams have to reset, but against only a Ganesha, not sure if it's worth it. And when you have all that vision on the right side of the map, you know who's coming around the corner and the timing. Once you do see them, like, okay, they're at the back camps, okay, they're at blue, okay, they're here. With that timing said, Hype Unit could secure that Fire Giant even with Hamster there.
Or they could have gotten off and looked for the kills instead. A choice had to be made. We're seeing an odd theme here in today's matches. If you're just joining us in the SCL, We saw also some curious decisions being made, or rather not made. There is a fine line between hesitation and consideration, and I think Hype Unit absolutely found the bad side of that one. You've got to be confident in your play, or you've got to be confident in the retreat there. They waffled, and they did not come out successful.
Well, the thing was, they committed to the play that was being called. All of them made the hard switch once the pull occurred. It's not as if like people were on different pages. The team is cohesive. Now, whether or not that was the correct call is a different story, but at least that Hype Unit is demonstrating a lot of team synergy in their calls.
That's very true. I will give you that silver lining. However, you just can't let Keegan do that to you. It's not allowed. Jangaru pops the ultimate largely defensively, but he's here to fight if the enemy wants. Not going to be the case. Outside, our solo laners banging it out.
Trying to zone each other away. The healing done has been really high, I think, for Inbound, helping his team just stay in these fights. Already 4,021 minutes of play. He's been kind of just left to his own devices as Hype Unit was able to bully Blanche Fan Club for another objective.
The Primal Fury about to respawn in about 15 seconds. Hype Unit going to look for it for sure. Back to base for the moment. So Blanche Fan Club will have a momentary look. But the remainder of Hype Unit is close and waiting, so it's not going to be for free at all. Fury spawned, and we're ready to fight. Blanche Fan Club in position to start it off.
It's going to be a Primal Fury. Very important for both of these teams to get Hype Unit. You know they want to go for that Fire Giant sooner rather than later, as a little bit of a pull off the mark. Good zoning from the Merlin Blizzard. The goal is Delnyy, I believe, but not going to commit quite yet, seeing how his passive is stacked all the way up.
Still no full commit. Solo laners trading blows.
Oboronic got hit by that last monkey bounce. Sometimes that's go time for a Hunbats.
Not the case. Surrounded by carries. If Oboronic is, and that's a testament to Boronic's positioning, I think. If Oboronic isn't near Crimson and layers, completely different scenario. Hamster's going to drop the box, and there's the totem drop by Jangaru. Everybody in multiple directions. Keegan lays down the carpet, and everybody slows down. Wolves finds his speed and exits on the right. Healing is good. Healing is bad. 2 go down, but it's a triple kill for Crimson. Wonderful play from the Merlin. 4-0-3 for the Mage carry. The Gold Fury goes down. Hype Unit doubles Blanche's 7 kills. And the lead is large. 5K and counting.
Wow, Blanche Fan Club really committed heavily in the heart of that team fight. Fatal Ghost was just in no man's land. Keegan as well. The synergy of those team fighting ultimates not as good as it was before, coming through on the Fire Giant side, as we're seeing Hype Unit still be left untouched here on the left side. They're a little bit greedy for this tier 2 tower. Jangaru,
they take it.
Without an ultimate, yeah, it becomes a lot easier.
Ouch. I hurt myself getting excited at that team fight, in all honesty.
Aww.
I really wanted to bring up the point of how important Wolves was in that team fight. I slammed my hand on the table, kind of bringing it up. Wolves here demands presence. And this is why I say player name is important. And maybe King Arthur demands presence by himself. But Wolves here demanded a 2v1.
Sure.
He demanded a 2v1. You know what happened to everyone else? They got Merlined. Crimson, anybody that wasn't fighting Wolves died. Because the front line was out there chasing Wolves. Wolves falls down, and you want to talk about the selfless solo laner, like when it's okay for your solo or support to die if there's a big win. That's the definition of it.
That's the namesake of Wolves, like you mentioned. It's not just his ability to control and demand respect in the battleground of the gods, but even outside, right? His Odin, yet again, gets banned. It was the very first phase. It's not like you're saving it for the second phase. This Blanche Fan Club doesn't want to deal with that pick. It also gives them some opportunities to pick the non-jump gods, like the Medusa.
Sure.
And also this Olorun. So it's up to BFC now to play defense on this Fire Giant.
Yeah, Hype has started it. Jangaru drops an early ultimate. I don't know if that's going to work out for the Manatoli.
Look at the backline, though. Delnyy all right on top of Crimson, but everyone is turning on Delnyy.
And there's the surround and pound. Delnyy goes down, number 15 for Hype Unit. Keegan answers back surprisingly, but again, it's Wolves versus the world. Chernobog lands on the ground, and now it's going to be Layers' time. Wolves falls down, but guess who else does? Everyone on the other team. Layers on the run. This should be the
That's
Deicide
a
Anatoly.
Deicide.
And again, Wolves gives it up so others can succeed. Down goes Hamster Man.
What a play. What
a
a play
player.
by everybody out of Hype Unit, honestly. Because
For real.
even to kill Jangaru, it had to be damn near perfect execution because Crimson used the Blizzard over the backcams as Jangaru was jumping away where he thought he was going to be safe. And not even going for the safer play, going instantly for this middle Phoenix. Only Delnyy to respawn at 3 seconds, and Hype Unit get it.
This was a great play. Everything that I wanted to see, I did. The Delnyy collapse, and that's, man, you know what it is? Delnyy makes that play against every other team in the league, and maybe every other team on the other side of the league. Like that's a fine play for an Osiris to dive the backline. And what happens is usually Osiris will dive the backline and drag a player out, right? Not literally like a Kepri, but Delnyy then kind of moonwalks, 2 players chase him. Literally what Wolves did 2 team fights ago. That's what's supposed to happen. But Hype Unit, far too disciplined. Hamster even drops the box, right? Far too disciplined. Hype Unit just, everybody turns. Nobody gets distracted. It's incredible. These players have been playing together for so long that it's hard to kind of discount that. But you know, I'm still impressed with that. The level of cohesion. It's a lot of fun to watch.
It just feels like a family almost at this point for Hype Unit. Even with Griffin gone and Crimson stepping up, I don't feel like much was lost in that transition whatsoever. Hype Unit is still the team that we're expecting them to be.
I mean, to be fair, the carry unit is absolutely more plug and play than some of the other choices. But you nailed it. This is a family. These guys have been out here and been winning games. This is a team, a squad, a family, and they are here to win some matches. Blanche Fan Club beats every other team around.
They do.
I'm not convinced this is over. Maybe game number 1. But this is the team that Blanche Fan Club is a team that embarrasses other squads on their bad days.
Sure.
And for Hype Unit to come out, have a 10,000 gold lead. Fire Giant taken. Subsequent team fight. Jangaru drops a totem. Delnyy again surrounded, but this time Hamster's able to provide a little bit more pressure. Wolves versus 4 on the bottom side and winning. 1 for Oboronic and 1 for the carry. Blackjack for Hype Unit. And they're going to continue to push forward. I dare you to take that teleport.
Yeah,
Jangaru.
I don't see Keegan getting out of this one, but a good zoning from Jangaru to at least stall it out for a little bit longer. The way Wolves penetrated that backline, all that thought though going on in is going to be Hype Unit. No mana on Jangaru, no life as well for a Hamster. With Middle Phoenix exposed, this is game 1 for Hype Unit.
Everybody's sitting on the bench right now except for Keegan. He'll show up. No ultimate available. Layers just says no thank you. 28-23 on the clock. Blanche Fan Club falls. Hype Unit stands tall.
I love the way Wolves demonstrated the King Arthur at the very end of that last team fight. After securing Fire Giant, he flanks around and he disrupts the Medusa from getting off that Petrify the same way it was in the earlier portion. He gets the knockup, he gets a slow, as it was just so heavily delayed. And by the time he got off the Petrify, it was too little too late.
Fantastic stuff. I said a lot about Hype Unit there. It's the type of gameplay I want to see. Strong individual carry, but at the end of the day, cohesion and synergy to tie it all together. Hype Unit up 1-0.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the SMITE Console League. Welcome back to the SMITE Console League, where Hype Unit just grabbed Game 1 over Blanche Fan Club, and in all honesty, it was never really in much doubt. Inbound hit some sick pulls early on the Sylvanus and helped that team get off to a big lead. To help me break it down further, Ryan Aggro Bailey is right here next to me. And Ryan, tell me what stuck out to you in that game.
Yeah, Inbound's pulls in the early game for sure, but as the game went further and further, it was really just Crimson on this Merlin, man. I mean, I was saying, why aren't we picking Thoth? Thoth is really good right now. Crimson is the premier Thoth player if it isn't his teammate, oBoronic, who's on the exact same squad. And we kind of got the answer. 8-0 and 8 for Crimson on this Merlin. He played absolutely lights out. His use of that arcane stance was consistently solid, and as a result, Hype Unit run away with it.
And yes, I think that they did play very well in that late game, but it's just so hard for me not to give credit to Layers and Inbound for the way they played this early game quite well. They were a roving gang looking for people to beat up, like in back alleys, and they were able to find them. Just a couple of sick pulls, a couple of blink taunts that were able to set things off, and that helped them get things started in a pretty big way. They were over here bothering Delnyy a good bit throughout the early game too. It really felt like Blanche Fan Club kept springing leaks, and they weren't sure where to go to try and plug the holes.
Exactly. I mean, Wolves got off to a pretty good start because of all that pressure. Layers got the double kill on the left-hand side because of Inbound's pull, and then they hand the ball off to Crimson in the later stages of the game. I mean, this isn't an insurmountable lead at this point. It's only 4 or 5K, and then Crimson gets a triple, nearly found the quadra on this chase down, and it just became too much for Blanche Fan Club to handle, even with a couple really, really good ultimates out of the Olorun.
Yeah, it just was not enough. I think Keegan had, like you said, some really good ultimate positionings, but I think to be getting the maximum value out of Sanctified Field, they have to be almost perfect, and there's so many small margins for error that happened. And to be honest, there were a couple times where Hype Unit, there were really good Sanctified Fields, and Hype Unit just fought in it anyway. Yep. I've never seen anything like it. They're like, yeah, we'll fight here, why not? We got cool slow motion effects to help us out, I guess.
Now my Merlin damage is just slightly slower, but still present. I mean, if it's a good fight, if it's a good fight slow, then it's got to be a good fight fast, right?
Yeah, and they took a lot of those fights. Were able to come out on tops. Now Blanche Fan Club are the ones that have to start making some adjustments as we move into the picks and bans for game number 2. And this isn't quite, I don't think there's quite the premium on this match there were, but some of the other ones. If Blanche Fan Club do want to catch up to Hype Unit, though, they've got to get it done here, or else Hype Unit might just be out of reach.
I mean, this is a must-win for Blanche Fan Club if they want to finish on top. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You can't count on Hype Unit dropping games to other teams in the region to help you out later on down the line. So you've got to try and find a way to battle back and win 2 in a row.
And that's not going to be an easy task. Hype Unit haven't really lost 2 in a row to much of anybody from what I've been able to see. But so far, these bans look fairly standard. Erlang, Shen, Zhonghui, Odin band, Away, the Gab, the Isis, and the Set. This Erlang Shen is nice, though. I think Layers was on this one last game, so take that one out of there so you don't have to worry about it here again.
Makes sense to me. AMC first pick. Seems solid for Blanche Fan Club. Do want to see this in mid. I mean, there's always that temptation, I think, to put this in the long lane, but I really feel like if you're picking AMC right now, it should be going into the mid lane.
Yes, go in there where the pressure is free and try and, control mid camps, those sort of things around the objective as King Arthur and Olorun come in for Hype Unit. This time, those Sanctified Fields are going to be on the other side. So Hype Unit can fight in them, and they'll help this time. Yeah. That can make things even scary.
Now they're like, wow, this ultimate is way better on our team than it was on their team, for sure. Yeah. I like it, but I like this Vamana pick in response by Blanche Fan Club. This is just there to kill the Olorun. It does not care at all about Sanctified Field. It doesn't care at all about Consecration. You just get to stomp down the Olorun pretty easily. That being said, you've given up King Arthur, Olorun, Thor to Hype Unit. That means that Layers is on Thor and Wolves is on King Arthur, and you are in trouble.
And I know there is one interaction that favors Vamana into the Thor in regards to being able to get to the wall pretty well, but not enough to the point where you're feeling great about a Thor on the other side. I just don't think it's anywhere near that impactful, though it can be pretty nice at some times. I'm a bit surprised, though, they valued this Olorun over the Merlin, especially the way that was played by Crimson last game, and that they dealt with the Olorun relatively well. Do you like prioritizing it here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. You end up still with a pretty well-rounded team composition either way. I've got no problem with it.
Well, it doesn't hurt them too much as they go into the Raw. Perhaps we'll see some of those flashbang Raw plays here this time. Maybe a blink coming out for him into the actual blind.
Are you sure you want to fight?
Doubtful, but maybe. Kumbhakarna on the other side adds a ton of control, though, for Blanche Fan Club.
You've seen this new iCarly meme that's going around.
Yes,
right?
where she goes through the
door. Yeah, goes through the door and just immediately hit by a wall of light. That's what Flashbang Raw really provides. And I'm hoping for it, but I doubt we'll see it. You basically need beads Aegis against a team composition like Kumbhakarna Vamana. You just need both.
I gotta use the 2 first, right? Then I'm blinking in. Gotcha.
Yeah, you use
Perfect.
the 2 and then you blink in right before it explodes, and you want it the exact same time, and you one-shot someone.
Good luck getting away from that one. Serqet
It's awesome.
comes through. Not necessarily needing the anti-heal here. This just gives them a ton of early presence. In fact, I'm thinking this one's for Inbound in the support role.
Agreed. I like it. I mean, Hype Unit has a lot of CC again. It's all to set up oBoronic on this Raw, and he's got to be able to capitalize. Great dive on the other side, though, for Blanche fan club. I think the backline for Hype Unit could be in trouble.
We're going to see a lot of Searing Pains connecting this game, I imagine. As we move into the action, I'll hand it over to Tom.
I will take it. Thank you, Finch. Hype Unit up 1-0 as we get ready for a new matchup here. It's all exciting as we start to look at what Blanche fan club can do to take over.
Looking like a little bit of a interesting start. Trying to spot out to see if anyone is coming around the corner. Fatal Ghost now playing still an ability-based hunter compared to the Medusa last game. Will play the Muzen Cobb. Another great choice and selection, especially this time against Crimson's Raw, something we don't see very often these days.
I'm here for it. I've been kind of thinking about Ra for a while. He's just
Dreamy.
Oh yeah, he talks to me in my sleep. He lets me know. No, for real. Crimson on the Ra, not even Crimson on the Ra, which by the way, nice little lane swappy thing going on here. oBoronic on the long side. But the Ra in general. I mean, it provides the early game push that characters like AMC are selected for. It's powerful. Out of combat healing is always well and good. I mean, you've got, I just like this selection. Really, it's unsafe. I think that's the counter argument there, Bully. But I just can't find a reason why you wouldn't invite Ra.
It's just, like, as good as Ra is, you need a couple of levels to match the pushing power of Fatal Ghost, right? Like, an Muzen Cobb with basic attacks is going to out-clear the Ra. But
An Muzen Cobb with basic attacks is going to out-clear everybody, though.
Pretty much. That's why you need 2v2s. Maybe 3v2s.
Fatal Ghost goes down to the hand of the Ra. You need a first blood. How about that?
Uh-oh, a little bit of back and forth action. Inbound using those minions perfectly.
He's good. The Wiggles gets him out of there. And Jangaru might be a little bit too far forward. Incredible layers taunted. He's got every reason to.
No way. Solo kill even to Keegan. Couldn't match the pushing power of oBoronic. He was eating too many archers.
That right there. I know last time I said we had a microcosm of what Hype Unit's known for. That's also it. They're going to win in the middle lane with some good play. They're going to win in the middle lane with some garbage. Inbound shouldn't have gotten away.
Oh, absolutely agree with you.
But he uses his juke boots and uses the minions perfectly, as you mentioned. So there's a little bit of just pure good skill. There's a little bit of luck. On the left side, the solo kill. I mean, that's they're beating you on all evidence, right?
Not so much in the soloing quite yet, but Delnyy is not on the better end of this one. Lower in the health department and the mana pool. Speaking of health department, actually Delnyy.
They're going to shut him down.
Yeah, but he's not winning in terms of the clear.
Have you been playing with the Ron Jobber announcer pack?
Why? What does he say?
For the shutdown play, the blue buff beaks. Oh man, you can't do that, Jangaru.
Yeah, you're dead, buddy.
Jangaru left that on a hair for way too long.
He tried to time layers of either basic attack or hammering it, but instead layers uses the Berserker Barrage and completely stops what Jangaru was expecting.
Just shut down like a restaurant. The health code violation.
Is that what he says?
That's what he says. Just like that, by the way, the delivery.
I like that.
It's great. Or how about this one? Unfortunate. You know, like the Kepri announcer pack. Well, then Ryan does one better. Aggros has unfortunate, really. You know, like the Ron Jobber announcer pack.
Oh, I like that. I love that one.
Aggro forever referencing the reference. You haven't really spoken to Aggro until he's described to you a meme in vivid detail. Like you'll be sitting in the room and say something stupid, and Aggro will be like, "All right, it's me," like the SpongeBob meme where he's getting out of the chair and he says, "All right, I'm gonna head out." Mm-hmm. Like that's what I'm doing right now, and you're like, "Aggro, we're in real life. You can just do that." But the reference to the reference. We love Ryan Aggro Bailey here. Fantastic stuff. He's on our desk right now, isn't he?
Yeah, with Finch. They're kind of chilling over there.
Bringing it together. A much faster paced game here in game number 2. 4 minutes in, 4 kills for Hype Unit. Everybody kind of eating. 2 kills in the jungle, 1 in the mid, 1 solo kill for oBoronic. Positive thing to see a good team kind of switch up the strategies as well and still continue, right? oBoronic and Crimson played their traditional positions. oBoronic is the mid laner, Crimson a mid laner in his own right, but playing carry here for Hype Unit. And then in game number 2, switching it up, having oBoronic play over there in the long lane, Crimson playing in the middle lane, and still succeeding.
Wolves setting up for the invade by poking out Blanche fan club ever so slightly. In a 1v3 casually, by the way.
Yeah.
Layers in the sky waiting to follow up. Lands a little bit onto Delnyy. Couldn't get the secondary stun before the Colossal Fury. But Wolves still going to be aggressive now. Immunes the Root with a spin. Can't immune that Mez though.
Delnyy out of the ultimate, and that will be enough to secure the win, so no problem. It's a nice look for Blanche fan club, the first positive play they've had here today. Keegan uses beads to get away from Inbound's taunt. Well, the damage already done, 2,500 gold lead already.
I like the way Inbound played that because after the Cobra's kiss, he just stands there.
Yep.
Waits for the beads. Keegan forced to use the flicker away defensively. He's like, all right, I'll get you next time. Your beads are on cooldown for 140 seconds. I got the blink. I have the last breath. Wouldn't be surprised to see a rotation after Inbound spends some gold in hand because he's been sitting on those reinforced shoes for a little bit.
Nice play there from Blanche fan club. That was beautiful. Fatal Ghost reading the fact that Crimson is going to toss the ultimate over the wall to steal the Harpies.
Or now. Knock up in the slow, gets off the basic attack. That's a lot of damage after you pop the poisons. And that's why we see these tanky Serqets in the support position. They don't need physical power. They don't need the penetration. They don't need the critical strike with the Deathbane synergy. All you need is that basic attack once you apply all the poisons.
Percent damage, don't forget the culprit on the tail as well. The ultimate deals true damage. You don't even need power for that nonsense. So really what it comes down to is ambush. You're right. If you were building jungle full aggro, you do more damage with your ambush. If you're doing damage with the ambush, you're already winning, so who cares? And then the Cobra's Kiss, you're right. It would do more damage if you had power. But guess what? It taunts. That's the good part of it. So when it comes down to it, the 2 damaging abilities don't require power. Yes, please, says the support club. Here's your card, Serqet. Welcome, and step right up.
Not going to be able to get anything in mid quite yet. Layer slightly off the mark with the Anvil of Dawn. As is Fatal Ghost on the Stinger. Hamster gets off the epic uppercut. Layers forced to hammer away. Fatal Ghost receiving the tail end of that searing pain. Jangaru not able to get the kill.
Inbound steps right up and takes it for his teammate. Layers is able to walk away. And Inbound doesn't even fall down.
He had so many opportunities with not just the Fatal Strike, but before that, with the basic attacks, with a couple of abilities, he whipped everything.
Oh man, that's just gotta hurt Jangaru. I'm sorry, man.
Well, to be fair, like Blanche fan club don't lose anything really. They still secure the red and the purple. They defend that buff. They survive the aggression from Hype Unit, but the thing is, you need those opportunities to secure the kills.
I mean, they might not lose anything in the game, Anatoly, but next time Jangaru opens up that stream, everybody gonna let them know what they saw.
I agree with you there, because Hype Unit is not gonna give you many opportunities to find kills onto them, and it was certainly there.
That was, and again, you know, shouts to Inbound, man. That's normally I would call it taking one for the team, but there wasn't a negative. He survived, walked away, got farm, no problem. Just takes it on the chin and walks away, no problem.
It's a feels-good moment there. Crimson doing a very early Divine Ruin into his build. Really worried, I guess, about the sustain from Delnyy. Potentially Fatal Ghost from the Hives. Jangaru does have some sustain, I guess, when he pops that Radiant Glory, but I don't know. I would have liked to see like a more committal offensive item instead of the Divine Ruin.
Like
Book of Thoth, maybe.
Okay.
Or even Chronos Pendant, like if you really want some CDR.
It's the Delnyy, man. The Vamana gets so It's so tough to deal with once Vamana goes into that ultimate. You get a Divine Ruin, you can kill him in Big Baby or not. So I like that choice. And I love this choice from Blanche Fan Club. You can't sit on your hands even if you're down. I like the decision to go aggressive. Fatal Ghost might pay for it, but the shutdown of the Thor is a big deal. And here's the answer back even. Blanche Fan Club comes 3v3. Wolves takes down Fatal Ghost, but Jangaru hits it this time. And it's a it would have been a 1-for-1. But oBoronic transitions all the way from the left side.
I don't know if Inbound had his ultimate during that fight. I think he was looking for it for a while. He could have immuned the Fatal Strike if he just hopped on to the Achilles there. A good opening by Blanche Fan Club when they went onto layers because he had no beads. But could this be a second solo kill in one game? It looks like it might be.
oBoronic, absolutely. You know what I loved about your call there? How unsurprised you were.
Yeah.
Could this be another solo kill? Looks like it could be. oBoronic just clocking in and clocking. That's what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what he does. And again, it's what I said in game number 1. Keegan is one of the best players on the sticks in SMITE. oBoronic just doesn't care. He's going to solo you in your own jungle. You give him the Olorun ult.
Yeah, and it's not like the matchup isn't favoring Keegan either. I think there was just more pressure from Hype Unit. Inbound making those rotations early on, making Keegan feel very uncomfortable. You also have to worry about layers on the Thor. So there's those two lingering thoughts of the Serqet, of this Thor that could be ganking me at any moment. If I'm Keegan, I'm feeling very unsafe at level 5 since then.
But right now, we're only 11 minutes in.
He doesn't even know that nobody's at his purple buff. That's how, like, where are they right now? That's his mentality. Are they here? Like, he's just checking the damage numbers. Like, if he sees damage numbers, he knows Inbound is there waiting for the blink. So I respect the Blizzard being thrown there just to investigate.
Again, Keegan's a fantastic player in his own right. I mean, listen, I'll admit it. I'm actually a Keegan fan. I love watching this kid play. I'm a fan of his streams. I just like this dude in general. But oBoronic's got his number right now. 2 levels. Keegan's senior. Here comes some damage and some help from the support player. And oBoronic doesn't even need the ultimate. Drops some damage. Inbound gets it from behind. And Hamster shows up here too late.
Just not there fast enough. Wolves, though, could be in a little bit of trouble in a 1v2. Keep in mind, he is playing this King Arthur, getting a lot of healing for the AoE. They need to find the execute, but Wolves is closing the distance away.
Oh, the dash is good. The heal's better. Wolves still alive at the moment. And this is what you expect out of Wolves. 2 players attack and the 2 players just
If
walk
he hit
away.
that Sundering Strike, I think Wolves was about to get the kill. Fatal Ghost didn't have the range of the Stinger to get that kill. Now Layers wants to punish out BFC's over aggression.
Uh-oh, Fatal Ghost goes home.
Yeah, I respect that call. There's no reason for Layers to continue that chase down. If he dies there, you're delaying your speed buff as well. You're giving more opportunities for BFC to get back into this game. Man, Jangaru just a little bit off the mark again on that Fatal Strike.
Hype Unit have amassed a 6,000 gold lead. 5,500 to be exact. But it's been early, and the kills have been often. Shoutouts to Hamster's 360. You see that jump? He jumped to 360.
I saw that.
A little pop shove it. A little pop shove it. You like it? A little pop shove it.
More of like a pop, lock, and drop it kind of guy.
You gotta watch more skateboarding, man. You know Sharagoma has been crushing it, but at the end of the day, I'll forever be a Nigel Houston fan. 9-2, read the kills. Hype Unit trying to dark slide their way into victory. You know anything about skateboarding, Tully?
I actually used to play Tony Hawk. That's about it.
The way you started that sentence, I actually used to. I thought you were going to say, like, it was sponsored.
Nope. Okay.
Yes, baby. Inbound.
Nice.
Finds, gets the last hit. Crimson with the long shot. And that's what I'm saying. Ra has the power. That ultimate's going to be up very, very soon. Just cooldown boots alone, 10% CDR, good enough to make that sub 1 minute.
Well, you also have the Mage's Blessing there for an additional 10%.
20. You
so
are correct.
it's nice. Little touch there. Steering Pin already a low enough cooldown as is. Every 10% makes it that much faster. Inbound not done yet. He does not have the last breath, but Cobra's Kiss is still respectable CC.
Unit trying to dash away here. Fury respawns in 50 seconds, and that's why it seems like Hype Unit's just kind of dancing around. Loitering, as the police would call it.
There's no skating here.
They're just waiting for the Fury.
Wow, Hamster taking a considerable amount of damage. Searing Pain
Look at
slightly
Wolves.
off the mark. Their Wolves zoning between Tier 1 and Tier 2 allows Crimson's wave to get under the tower.
Inbound showing up, trying to get the kill on the backing Kumbhakarna. A little bit too late here. Delnyy shows up, taunted. Tier 1 tower still alive for now.
Yeah, Delny's just not tanking at all. Taking all these shots and randomly layers even in the sky. Could have landed on Delnyy, and I think if he lands there, that would have been a kill, but he would not be able to get out if he invests the hammer.
I think it's a range thing. I think Layers actually messed up and was way too far back.
That could have also been it.
Yeah, I think he was a little too far back.
But with the way Layers has been playing, it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't even try to go in. He's very conservative this game, really respecting the fact that his team's doing work. There's no reason for him to take a 10% gamble of a kill instead of, you know, the more favorable exchange later down the road. Now that he has Shifter Shield, he has a really good power spike to be aggressive and rely on the defense you get once you do get under that 75% health threshold.
Shifter Shield, again, I mentioned it earlier on in the day. Quintessential Thor item, I feel like. You've got all this power in the world to dunk down and do your combo, and then by the time people wake up, get unstunned and start focusing you,
it's perfect.
You've got the protections. Recently changed from 50% to 75%, which I think is much more realistic, you know? If you're getting attacked at all, you're going to be less than 75 because you're building like an assassin.
Why do we even call it a Shifter Shield? Like, it should be called a Thor Shield at this point.
Well, I think there's a lot of characters that kind of use it well, and they're all that initiation thought process. Bobby goes ahead and disrupts 4 players on the Pyromancer, while the rest of his team, sans Wolves, grabs Gold Fury. Wolves is here, and he's here to block, except he gets picked up. Wonderful play, almost a miscommunication. You know what I'll call it? Miscommunication there from Wolves.
He wanted to try to pick up Jangaru, but there was just so much traffic.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of hoping you're going to get the right target there, but trading his life to prevent an objective and securing that one for themselves, I think Inbound will take that trade every day of the week.
It's a great play from Inbound. Just, like you said, single-handedly disrupting the attack on the Pyromancer. Right side tower being pressed on. Crimson likely to grab it. Wolves here playing defense.
Poor Delnyy. There's literally nothing he could do.
That was a very real feel. Delnyy gets a haircut from Crimson's attack right there. Totally, that. I felt that. That was a solo.
Oh yeah. Like his hair just like went up.
Oh no, I'm talking about when you said poor Delnyy. Yeah, that came from the heart.
That did.
That was a
There's
solo
just nothing he
feel.
could do there. Yeah. Unfortunate, really. As quoted by me, quoting Aggro, quoting Ron Jobber, quoting the Kepri.
It all comes full circle. Delnyy gonna get aggressed on, and yeah, 11-3. What was the most difficult or frustrating matchup for you to deal with in your own time before all these crazy characters came out?
Habwa versus Hell.
Oh God.
When I was a Hell.
Players here.
That was an annoying one.
Players here won't remember that meta.
No, definitely not. Thankfully, that's not another meta. Woo! That's just a guessing game there at that point.
That was funny. Crimson comes and goes, all right, I got one shot. I missed. You're lucky. And then Layers like, no, I got you, dude. Jangaru is sitting there like thanking his lucky stars. Haha, I got out. I avoided the rod. Oh.
Yeah.
Here comes Layers.
The only way that's worse is if you die to a Loki instead of a Thor.
Which, somebody's played Loki on this team.
Once or twice. You might have heard of him.
Wolves has gotten his Loki banned away from him before. I do think actually the change, the hit chain, not getting the big shot for aim strike after the ultimate.
That's a big one.
Really does change Loki. So previously a niche pick, now might absolutely be a meme pick.
Still think he's like good for split pushing as well. A lot of comeback potential.
Hamster flings to the back line. Fatal Ghost gets blown up. Frontside inbound, backside layers. And it's all about the big spin. Here comes the bullet time out of oBoronic. Crimson's gonna pick up one off of it. Delnyy on the chase. And oBoronic picks up the secondary kill. With that, 2 players are left. The mid-tier 2 is in the sights.
The backside, nice little stun onto Keegan Laters, using basically all of his mana. Wolves could potentially go on in, and Hype Unit is having a field day. Look at the goal disparity, not even 20 minutes in.
Very different, stark difference from Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1, Blanche Fan Club were up, ready to go. Game number 2, Hype Unit are playing with them as if they were toys. Fire Giant up next, pulled at exactly 20 minutes. Hamster coming through. Can he do the dance?
Maybe.
Can he do the dance? He's here a little bit early and will get zoned out by Wolves. Walking in, belly bump's good, Rock confirms, and now Hamster by himself landed on and planted.
They all wanted to go for that last hit. I
all
was
waited.
watching Wolves to see it because he's not basic attacking, but his attack animation is so slow. You have to time that perfectly to steal.
You ever try to King Arthur attack in a Olorun field?
Oh man, good luck.
Ooh. Ooh. Just slowly.
That'd be funny actually if the voice lines also get slowed down.
You know, when a new character comes out, it's obviously a new experience for commentators as well. Obviously, there's mechanics for players, but there's mechanics for commentators, right? What we call the abilities or whatnot. I have tried to do a slow motion call in a team fight with the Olorun ultimate.
Yeah, you did that today with me.
Yeah, it was bad. It was not my finest team fight.
You gotta try it out to see how it works.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah.
you know, you gotta
I
try it
respect
out.
it.
And I try things in scrims, but just like players, you know, the game, the real adrenaline of a match is the only way you can get it. Should I try again?
Hey, sometimes you feel it. Just go for it.
If it comes to me, we'll do it.
That's what casting is, really. It's like mostly a feeling.
That's very true. Boston. Only Fury going down here to Hype Unit, nice and easy. 20,000 gold lead. And it's all about the dairy. Straight coming up here. Left side will be the target. Grouping up 3 and 2, Layers and Wolves heading out to the mid lane. The rest of the squad going to be tearing up this left side lane.
Hard to really stop Hype Unit currently with this kind of a level 20 lead. Like, it's just not the gold, it's also the experience. Fatal Ghost can't stack up to the damage out of Crimson. If anyone gets hit by this level 20 rod, they're basically out of the fight, if not already dead.
There's the blink forward, the taunt gets 1, Zigzag cuts down Fatal Ghost. Big damage from the support Serqet. The Ra ult will be off the mark. Players pushing up in the mid lane as well, and the Phoenix will get tickled. Not exactly fierce structure killers. The King Arthur with the slow attack speed, as you mentioned.
Double healing as well. It's not just a rod, it's also the Olorun to give Hype Unit more round 2 or even round 3 opportunities. Keep in mind, still more ultimates to come.
Keegan taunted. There's going to be a brief reprieve, and down comes the Olorun field. Players looking for the back line. Nobody in Blanche Fan Club's jersey in the box, but it's all about spacing, and down goes the bird. Now the team fight after the fact. Frenzy is popped for Hype Unit. Trouble for Layers. Makes it out.
Wow.
I can't believe it. He dodged. He dodged. He dodged. Oh, boy. oBoronic gets the kill. I'm still looking at Layers using the hammer to avoid the execute. What a crazy play.
Getting the left side Phoenix after a little bit of a scuffle. Now transitioning over to the middle side. Layers a little bit low, looking for the long range stun. Gonna sustain up from this Raw, and just like that, Layers already going from 20% health to 90% health off of 2 abilities.
Lane Bird under duress. Jangaru gonna walk away. Crimson halfway to having his ultimate up one more time, and he might not even need it. Jangaru finds safety underneath the mountain. Phoenix will fall down. 2 out of 3 are in the dirt. Hype Unit pushing forward Anatoly. This could be their moment.
Gonna go for a kill onto Fatal Ghost. He uses the Aegis. He's gonna
One
get taken
down.
out after Jangaru, and this is the second game that Hype Unit secure.
2 down as well. Delnyy here to play defense alongside Keegan, but with another sanctified field, that's all she wrote. And Hype Unit danced their way to victory. A little distracted, but they're coming back. And the Titan falls down 23-3.
5-0-12 as Crimson's Raw, part of 17 of his team's 23 kills. Hype Unit making it look easy against a team that has a lot of talent, honestly.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, I really just love the stuff that we saw out of Hype Unit. I mean, this was game number 1, a little bit back and forth. Game number 2, anything but.
Sure. I think that the rotations coming through from Layers on the Thor was a big one. The solo kill, 2 solo kills coming through from Oboronic was a good added touch. The way that Inbound started the game at that level 2 marker gave a lot of momentum to Hype Unit for Crimson to be free to do what he wants with his Searing Pains.
These teams came out to play. Blanche Fan Club certainly put it on the field, at least in game number 1. Game number 2, certainly a different story. I love what we saw out of Oboronic individually. You talked about the multiple single kills. We saw Wolves put on a clinic, everything coming to Millhouse here for Hype Unit. We're almost done. We'll break it down right now on the desk.
Tom's right. We are indeed almost done, but not quite there yet. We're going to break down not just that set, but the entire day here for you all to keep you caught up on what happened in consoles in case you missed some of those games back towards the beginning. But Hype Unit take care of business here up against BFC. Ryan, I mean, what more can we say, right? I mean, all this set up with a Raw there to follow up for it kind of went the way you expected.
Yeah, here's my analysis. I get paid for this, by the way.
Yeah.
Oboronic, good.
Yes.
He's pretty good. Wolves, he's good too. Layers definitely on the signature Thor.
Any thoughts on Inbound or Crimson?
That was good.
Or?
Good and good. Yeah.
Good and good.
And
I find
also,
myself agreeing.
Being level like 6 when the enemy is not level 6 is a bad look for a jungler. Jangaru was down like 6 levels all game, and it's objectively harder to win that way.
Yes,
it's not impossible though.
Much harder to win that way. Any other analysis? Like, do you think that, like, what about levels? Do you think levels help you out in the game?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, gold.
Gold is good.
Yeah.
Levels are good.
Okay.
Knocking down towers is good.
Those are
Getting
good
objectives are good. Slaughtering your opposition is good. Taking all their farm is solid.
Right.
If you do all of those things back to back to back with nothing else happening in between, then you are favored to win the SMITE game.
Yeah, I would argue likely even, to win the game, more so than not. But that is what I guess a surface level breakdown of what happened there in that game.
They were the better team. I don't know.
We can go back through the entire day here for you as well, starting with PS4 EU. This was maybe not as important as some of the other games, but it was VGS God's chance to try and stay close to some of these other teams. It looks like Aerial Arise did also come in with a victory. Perhaps that was one of the ones they had off broadcast, out cold, now dropping. Remember, they were the representatives that were here at MSI, so they were certainly the ones we expected to come out on top, but that region always improving. Next up, Xbox EU rival to no one's surprise are 7-0 with a plus 13. So I think that means only one game has been dropped throughout all these games as well. So they have just been a dominant force.
Pretty sure Rivals 1 win away from clinching, maybe 2 at most, but no more than that. They are coming to land. Don't get it twisted.
Nemesis and Big Money up near the top, but Nemesis have finally reclaimed that spot. I think that they ran into some trouble when they went from Covey to Coils in that mid lane. That took them some time, but clearly Coils, after that Giannis game, has caught back up. Nemesis at the top, but not secure just yet. We're going to have to ride the rest of PS4 in A to find our representative here in this close region.
No doubt, very close. It's just everyone punching cavalry at the bottom.
That's right. They know who they can beat. Xbox in A, on the other hand, is not quite the suspenseful affair. It's hyping up at the top 6-1. Everyone else struggling to try and keep them in frame as they are flying out of the picture here right now at 6-1. I imagine hyping is the team that we'll be seeing as well. So PS4 more up in the air. It looks as though Xbox, though, pretty confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a league that's a little bit more established. These players are very established. Rival and Hype Unit, all not mathematically guaranteed to come to land. Right. But between you and me, they're coming to land. Don't worry about it.
What did Ryan say to you guys just now in that single? I didn't hear it.
That's not for your ears, dude.
It was just between them. Well, there you go. A bit of a secret that you guys get that I don't get to know about. Again, thank you so much for watching us here for the Console Minor League is going to be happening tomorrow, so that means you're going to see all those great games. Then it'll be Esports Weekly on Wednesday, then follow that up with the SPL on Thursday and Friday. So that means that your weekend's already booked, or the week rather. You know where you're going to be for all the SMITE stuff. Thanks for hanging out today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Peach it!